Hello world, and welcome to Elevated Intuition. Today we are looking at the full moon. This is happening on November 19th. This is the Beaver full moon, which is the Beaver Moon. It's the name given to the full moon in November. And this particular full moon is a full moon in Taurus. So I just wanted to get this card out to show you as an example of what that might mean for you. And then we're going to pull some cards about the full moon and being in Taurus for each sign. So your dreams need a practical plan. It's not enough to just like wish your dreams and have them just, instantly come true. I mean, I think we all would love to win the lottery, but even that, we have to have a plan about, right? You can't win the lottery if you don't play. You need to put some steps forward to whatever goal that you are going towards. So the other interesting things about this full moon is it is a partial eclipse. So while, full moons are, a time of a lot of energy, it's very interesting energy, like the moon controls, our emotions. It controls like the ebb and flow of water as well. And so that's why it can control our emotions. Because this is a partial eclipse, like that energy can be more intense and then for longer periods of time. Usually we can use the full moon energy for a couple of days before and after to manifest or release. Usually releasing is best with the full moon energy, but whatever intention you are putting towards this. And this, with an eclipse though, it can that energy can last longer. So be very intentional with your intentions, like think things through, because this can last for a long time. The other interesting thing about this particular full moon is it's a full moon in Taurus and the sun is in Scorpio. Those are now opposing energies because when we have a full moon, the sun is opposite of the moon. But what's also interesting about that combination is this is the first of several eclipses that occur between Taurus and Scorpio. And this kind of kicks off the next 2 years where most of the eclipses will be in either Taurus or Scorpio. So we really need to think about that. And I would invite you to write down like your feelings or what's going on at this time. This is the first eclipse in Taurus that has happened since 2014. And then now we're going to have a series of them. And then we've got like Taurus and Scorpio opposed. So that is really interesting because Scorpio deals with our, is a very emotional sign. It's a water sign. It deals with our shadow self, our private world. And then we've got Taurus over here where Taurus is very practical. It's an earth sign. Grounding is really important. And we have heightened senses. So just think about those few things as we go into your reading. And let's go ahead and do our reading now for each sign. Hello, Gemini. So this is the portion of the reading where we talk about the reading. That's why I'm giggling, because before we were just talking about the full moon in Taurus and those types of implications. So when we have a full moon, it is best to think about things that we are letting go. Something that might be blocking you, something that you're attached to and holding back on. So the cards that came out for you, Gemini, we've got the King of Cups, and then we have the High Priestess in reverse, Ace of Wands, and then the Devil in reverse. And I feel like I'm hearing fake it till you make it, but I'm almost feeling like you are going through the not emotions. You're going through the motions. I'm thinking about emotions because you're putting up like this brave face that you are in in control of your emotions. And, but it really is more of a, being kind of disconnected from them. And you feel like, logically that would work, right? You cut off your emotions so they don't control you. And that's great, but it actually is closing you off from your intuition. The King of Cups is somebody who his reputation, like the bad reputation would be that he is alone on his own little island. He is in control of his emotions, maybe not to the extent of the Queen of Cups. Like the Queen of Cups, she's in control of herself, but she also like exudes love. Like you can feel that from her. The King of Cups, though, can feel kind of closed off from their emotions. Very masculine energy. You think of a male figure who doesn't show any emotions, doesn't say that he's proud of you, doesn't do those types of things because they consider it a weakness. And I feel like that's coming up, like we are living in an emotionally charged time. There are things coming up, and I feel like this full moon is a time for you to think about the things that you have been closing yourself off from, because you think that it's helpful. But in reality, you need to be in touch with those emotions, and it's fine. I'm also getting like an image of a duck. When you see a duck gliding across the water, it looks effortless. It looks beautiful. It's actually very, very pretty to watch a duck gliding across the water. But there's a lot of things happening underneath the surface, and I feel like that's what's going on with you, Gemini. And I feel like when we've got the High Priestess in reverse here, I feel like it's because you want to project this idea that you're really in control of what's going on around you. And instead of like just putting up that front and really dealing with the things underneath, you're just closing yourself off completely. So I want you to think of ways where you can be an observer of your emotions, where you can see a situation and instead of having no reaction, it's fine to like have that face of no reaction, but then under the surface, like what does it really make you feel? Does it make you feel anxious? Does it make you feel angry? Does it make you feel depressed or sad? And then ask yourself why. Because I feel like you need to get in touch with your intuition, and the best way to do that is get in touch with your emotions. But you've kind of been putting up this front that everything is okay and you're perfectly fine. And just because you acknowledge that you're having emotions, or you acknowledge that something under the surface is upsetting you, that's not a sign of weakness at all. A sign of weakness, it would be continuing what you're doing, just pretending that everything is okay, pretending that there are no problems whatsoever at all, and never dealing with them. So this is, if you don't want to necessarily express that in person, because eventually like it will explode, and you don't want to explode on those people around you. The High Priestess is holding a scroll here. So writing those things down, like when you're an observer of your emotions and what's going on, writing that down and figuring out why something upsets you. And then when you actually deal with it, when you actually understand, oh my gosh, that upsets me because, I've always thought this one way, but that doesn't have to be true. I can change my mind. I can think this other way. It's going to help you progress, and you're not going to have to put up a front that you are this logical, emotionally stable person. You just will become that logical, emotionally stable person. Next, we've got the Ace of Wands, and then we have the Devil in reverse. The Devil in reverse is actually like, it's an amazing card in reverse, because I feel like you're really ready. I feel like you're ready to let go of attachments. I feel like you're ready to let go of ideas that you've been attached to for a long time. I feel like you're ready to let go of programming. I feel like you're ready to let go of things that have held you back. You know, a lot of times we talk about like generational, like breaking generational cycles. Well, the reason we have generational cycles is because we learn something from our parents, and they learn something from their parents, and they learn something from their parents. And then we never thought to question those things, and we just keep on going and doing and being, almost like we're programmed, because we are. It is a really efficient way to exist, because the less we have to think about something, the more we just go and do something. You know, that's pretty efficient. But this lunar cycle and where we are right now, it really is asking us to dig deep and start thinking about new ways, new discoveries. And that's what this Ace of Wands is. And I almost feel like, I know this is a wand, but I almost feel like, you know, shining light on those dark aspects of ourselves, that shadow self. And I feel like it's really going to help you. Like, there's all the potential in the world in this Ace of Wands, like this fire, this passion. Like, Wands is about passion, Wands is about fire. And I feel like you've been suppressing something that you really would love, that would really be a benefit to you, would be a benefit around to other people. But you've been just so much in the programming that you aren't finding that thing that you love. And examples of programming, I tell this story a lot, but it's a perfect example because it happens to a lot of people. In 5th grade, my teacher wouldn't let the girls play with the boys. And there weren't enough girls to play soccer, so I just couldn't play soccer anymore. And then I got this thing, well, you know, girls can't run or girls can't play soccer, and I just didn't play sports anymore. And now that I'm realizing where that emotion is coming from, where that attachment, like to that old idea, like that wasn't my idea. That was like my 5th grade teacher was like, I don't know, she seemed 80 years old when I was in 5th grade. So that was like a super old way of like, girls can't play with boys unless we did jump rope, right? It's ridiculous now that I say it out loud. And I imagine that there are things in your past that you've been told that are just completely like ridiculous. Another example, this isn't mine, but I was watching TikTok and it came up where this woman was talking about someone telling women like to cover up, leave something to the imagination, right? And then she was talking about how toxic that is. Like, oh, okay, you're really objectifying women there if what they wear, you know, cover their bodies so that a man can imagine it. Like, how that's really disgusting and creepy. But on the surface, like something that you say like that, or you hear, you don't really think anything of it. And these are the time that, I mean, this full moon, this lunar eclipse is the perfect time to be thinking about these sayings, or like this old way of thinking, and breaking that cycle, because yeah, that's a super creepy thing to say. I mean, and you may have said something like that to your friends, and it, you know, just because, again, like you heard that from somebody who heard that from somebody, and it has roots like way, way back, that doesn't fit with our current society. It doesn't fit with our current way of life. And I mean, I tell people to cover up because, you know, getting pneumonia is expensive. But that's when I would go out with my friends dancing, I was like, always bring a jacket. Pneumonia is expensive. Pay for coat check. That's important. Bring a jacket. But, you know, wear whatever you want underneath that. That's totally fine. So, I mean, lovely cards, Gemini, because I feel like this full moon in Taurus is asking us to do a lot of reflection, a lot of thinking. And I feel like when we have the devil in reverse, like you are thinking about things. Like, look at this doorway to the mind, like understanding that whatever we are attached to, it controls us. It binds us. I am attached to caffeine, for instance. Well, that controls me. If I don't have my caffeine in the morning, I get super grumpy. I shouldn't be like that, but you know, it is what it is, and I'm okay with it. It's fine for me to deal with right now. I feel like, you know, and here's me walking up here making excuses, but should I do something about that habit? Should I drink more water and take down the caffeine? Maybe. But what are the things that would be helpful for you, Gemini? What are the things that you're attached to that are holding you back? Are you attached to the idea that, you know, you have to drive a certain car or live in a certain neighborhood, or your kids have to go to a certain school, or you have to be at a certain gym, and those things are super expensive, and maybe, you know, they're controlling you because it's keeping you in a job that, yeah, you make a good money there, but is it worth it? So those are the types of things that you can think about, Gemini, that attachments that are keeping you bound.